Out of the five of you in this picture, you were voted least likely to have money. Not cruel, just accurate. It's a tailgate lot 3 years after graduation, plastic cups and a cooler wedged in a truck bed. Marcus is front and center because Marcus is always front and center, recruited before he even walked the stage. If a stranger guessed which one of you ends up wealthy, nobody points at you. You're the one holding the cooler lid so it doesn't blow off. Nobody remembers that but you. You're 23. Your first direct deposit lands at $2,840 after tax, and you refresh the app twice to watch it sit there. Marcus starts at almost the same number. So does Emma. So does Wells. For one exact moment, all four of you are equally rich and equally broke. That's what nobody explains about getting ahead of the people you grew up with. There's no gap in money at the start. There's only a gap in what you do on a random Sunday when nobody's checking on you, and a decision made alone doesn't announce itself. It happens once with a door closed, then repeats for 20 years, whether you remember choosing it or not. Yours happens 7 months in. A coworker mentions a spreadsheet at lunch, so that night you open one and type in $412 a month at an 8% average return, starting now. You scroll to age 40 and the number looks wrong, so you assume the formula's broken. You retype it. It isn't broken. You raise the monthly amount by $50 just to see, and the bottom number jumps more than it should. You don't screenshot it, don't send it to the chat. You open a brokerage account before bed and move $412 into 3 index funds you picked in 4 minutes. That $412 is the first money in your life that wasn't traded directly for an hour of your time. Marcus spends that same Sunday the way Marcus spends every Sunday, and there's nothing wrong with how he lives. That's what sits underneath this whole story for years. He didn't do anything reckless. He just never had the door closed Sunday, and neither of you thought it mattered at the time. You're 26. The gap is real now, but it only exists on a login screen nobody else has seen. On the outside, you look identical, same happy hour, same complaints about rent. Then Marcus gets promoted and leases an X5 for $897 a month. Genuinely beautiful, and he's genuinely proud. His net worth drops the day he drives it off the lot. Yours climbs that same month because you got a raise too and changed nothing. Your rent goes up $140 at renewal, the only line that moves all year. Wells starts a running joke about you being the cheapest person he knows, and you let it stand because correcting it means explaining something you don't have language for yet. Your savings rate sits at 31%. Theirs is whatever survives the lease and the rooftop apartment. You buy the same 3 funds on the same day every month and never check the balance in between. Your account crosses $58,000 and you tell no one. Emma wants it faster and louder than any of you. She texts the group about a token about to move, a flipped car, a candle business that just needs seed money. She's doing exactly what the internet says getting rich looks like. And for almost a year, she looks right and you look painfully slow. She posts the wins. You post nothing because there's nothing photogenic about an automatic transfer. Then the token does what tokens do. The car needs a transmission worth more than the flip paid, and the candle business folds in month 9. Emma goes quiet for a while. You keep buying the same 3 funds on the same day. The difference between you was never nerve. It's that you were willing to be bored for 18 years, and she wasn't willing to be bored for 1. You're 30 at Marcus's wedding, a vineyard 2 hours out that costs more per hour than most people's rent. You're a groomsman in a rented tux matching 3 other rented tuxes, genuinely happy for him. At the next table, someone mentions the wedding loan. $22,000 at 12%. Financed over 4 years, worth it for the photos. Someone jokes and everyone laughs, the kind of laugh that means it isn't really a joke. You could write that check tonight and not feel the month change. You order a second glass of wine and let it go unmentioned. You're not the only quiet one at the table, but you're the only one being quiet on purpose. The group chat is different now too. It used to be plans. Now it's quietly about money, the way it always becomes once people are stretched. Someone floats splitting a lake house and the thread goes dead the moment the total posts. A flight comes up for Wells's 30th, and he drops out with a joke about being tapped out that isn't really a joke. You start covering small things without turning it into a moment, an extra round, a shared Uber nobody itemizes, a room upgrade so nobody has to do math at a front desk. You've gotten good at making the covering invisible. You're 34. There's a loose reunion, a backyard, a cooler, all four of you together for the first time in years. Someone pulls up the old tailgate photo, everyone laughing at the hair and the cups. Standing there, you feel for the first time that the gap has stopped being something anyone could close by trying harder. It's hardened into structure. Compounding did that. Not effort, not talent, not who worked more hours. 11 years of a decision made on a Sunday with a door closed, running every day whether anyone thought about it or not. They could start tonight, match your exact contribution, and never catch the head start. Those 11 years aren't for sale at any price. The math doesn't care who's more talented. It only cares who began first. You've learned the rules of the gap by now. You don't bring up money unprompted. When someone asks what you do, you keep it flat. When talk turns to how expensive everything's gotten, you complain just enough to sound like everyone else at the cooler. You've become fluent in performing a squeeze you stopped feeling years ago. It's closer to a translation than a lie, because the truth has nowhere to land in this backyard. Your net worth is past $310,000. The average across your friends is near zero, two of them under it. You're standing 4 feet from people who knew you before any of this existed, and there's a fact about you now they cannot see. You're 38 when Marcus calls, not texts, which is how you know before he says anything. The X5 is long gone. A layoff nobody saw coming, then a health scare with his father that ate through savings that weren't really there. He needs $9,300, and you can hear exactly how much he hates asking in the half second before the number comes out. You say yes before he finishes the sentence. Take whatever time you need, no interest, and you mean it. You send it that afternoon, and when you hang up, you sit in your car in the driveway, and what you feel isn't pride. It's closer to grief, because the one everyone bet on just had to ask the one holding the cooler lid to get through a bad spring. The gap was never a verdict on who deserved more. That's the part nobody says out loud when they sell you the idea of getting ahead. It was arithmetic that started on an ordinary Sunday and never once paused to ask permission from anybody in that photo. You make more now, but the salary was never the engine. Your money earns its own money, and the portfolio throws off more in a slow year than your first paycheck ever did. While you sleep, while you drive, while you stand in backyards performing a squeeze you don't feel anymore. Marcus will spend the next several years climbing back towards zero, exactly where the two of you stood together at 23. You haven't been near zero in 15 years. The distance between his climb and your drift was never about effort. It's just years that already happened and can't be handed back to him at any price. You're 43 by the only measure that ends up on a screen, and you're wealthy. And you got there faster than every person in that photo. None of them know the real number. You could stop working tomorrow and the math wouldn't flinch. You don't stop, not yet. Because the strange secret of getting there early is that the day itself is quieter than you imagined. There's no parade, no version where you walk back into that gravel lot and the four of you understand it together the way you once understood everything. The heat, the cooler, the same exact sun. What you have now is the word no. You can say it to a boss, a bad year, any demand on your time, and it costs you nothing. Almost nobody you grew up with can say it the way you can. What you don't have anymore is what that photo actually captured, the ease of being exactly the same as the people next to you. You traded that away without knowing it. On a Sunday at 23 with a door closed, getting ahead in the end is only another way of saying you pulled away. And those two things are the same motion seen from two different angles. Some weekends you still drive past that old gravel lot. It's smaller than you remember. The tailgate crowd scattered into mortgages and second jobs and a group chat that's mostly gone quiet. You don't stop the car, you slow down and keep driving. The only thing you've ever actually done over and over on purpose. The photo is still on somebody's phone. 4 of you squinting into the same sun, none of you knowing yet. Marcus front and center, because Marcus was always front and center. You near the edge holding the cooler lid, the one nobody would have put $1 on. From inside that frame, there was no gap. There never was, not yet. It was a decision none of them could watch you make, and one you could barely watch yourself make either. A number typed twice into a spreadsheet because you were sure the first answer had to be a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. You got rich faster than everyone you grew up with for a reason that fits in a single sentence and explains almost nothing about who any of you actually are. You started earlier, and then you simply never stopped. They had the same parking lot, the same starting paycheck, the same sun overhead. You spent one Sunday differently just once, and that difference compounded quietly for 18 years into a distance no reunion will ever fully close. You're still the same person standing in that photo. You always were. The math just happened to reach you first.